Sure that we got you penciled in there because we are looking at different
Yeah,
products right now, and yours was on the list of ones that I wanted to take a look at. So,
I very much appreciate that. Then,
yep.
so tell me a little bit about you guys as a dealership and where you are with your exploration.
Um, we're a single store dealership, and
Mm-hmm.
we are looking at all types of solutions. We've looked at Matador, Call Drip, Car Wars, Call Review,
Okay.
looking at a few different ones there, and just trying to see what is going to do, fix some of the holes that we have here that we're trying to
Okay.
remedy.
Yeah. So tell us to me about a little bit about that, so I have a good understanding. What are you? I should say, which problems are you trying to solve with potentially AI?
Um, on scaling communication, I would say would be the top one.
Okay.
We are trying to see if there's anything that would work with um, a voice uh, communication voice scheduler. I currently am
Okay.
I'm using Vanessa from Vin Solutions in the AI in our CRM. However, it's really restricted to mostly sales oriented
Yeah.
things, and we have some communication issues we're trying to resolve there on service as far as making sure that all of our calls are taken care of and scheduled.
Okay.
And we are trying to find some solutions too for outbound communications on
Okay.
uh, getting to customers that are our service BDC is fairly small, so compared to
Okay.
the volume of customers that we have.
Okay. So you kind of just said some magic words right there to me at the tail end of that. So with Stella, the solution that Stella solves is answering inbound phone calls, and to your point, very specifically, the bread and butter and where Stella shines the brightest right now is in service booking. So then what that does is alleviate time for your BDC to be able to make those outbound calls. So then if Stella is configured and customized and set up properly and handling enough of your inbound calls, then you wouldn't need to seek an outbound resource in order to dial those, because then your humans would be able to do that.
Makes sense. Yep.
Yeah, so that's what Stella is designed to do. The reason why I was asking kind of some vague questions, if you will, was mostly because the couple of companies that you named do something very different from what we do.
Okay.
So that was a little like I was hearing a little bit more on like call analysis, call reporting, those types of things. A little bit of it coming into like the training aspect of it for your humans, and so I just wanted to make sure that we're on the same page as far early on as far as what Stella can do for you.
So, do you
But
do any type of call analysis, or is it just strictly conversational AI?
So we are strictly conversational AI.
Okay.
There is in the reporting and in some of the live listening, if you will, there is some because we do pay attention to like for example, if somebody hangs up on in the middle of a call, we can send you an alert that says, "Hey, Leela just hung up. This is what was going on. This is where Leela left the call." Type of thing. And then that you can then have somebody pick up and call Leela to say, "Hey, I noticed that you hung up when you were talking to Stella. Is there something I can help you with?"
Okay.
So it's kind of an in between from for what it's not exactly call analysis, but there is a hint of it, if you will.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. So I just want to be super transparent and make sure that what we're doing is something that makes sense for you. Like I said, based on the other companies that you were shopping
Yeah.
and comparing.
Yeah. So I'm
So
looking at solutions just for the dealership as a whole. So
okay.
the conversational part I think would be most beneficial on the service side. The reporting
Yeah.
is probably an area that overlaps a little bit more onto the sales side where missing
Okay.
some opportunities due to
Okay.
missing calls and whatnot. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I will tell you, I'm not someone who loves to sell future products, but because we're so close, I will talk a little bit about it. But we are going to be we are going to be launching, I should say, a sales solution in Q2. It will not be on the phones initially. Where by the time we hit the phones, it'll be more like Q3. But before we get too far ahead of ourselves, have you yet interacted with or heard a call to Stella?
No,
Okay.
I've heard maybe something similar through what Call Drip was showing
Okay.
at NADA. However, their product is not available yet.
Okay.
They were just kind of showing it off what it could do um,
Uh,
at the expo, but it's not available to enroll in.
okay. Yeah. Seems like that might have been happening a good bit. And fair enough, because we did some of the same, right? Like we have new products and features that are, you know, they're out and functional, but we still have some tweaking we want to do before we really truly go live with it. But I'm also talking like we're a few weeks away, not months on those things. So.
Yeah.
Um, so what I'd like to do is I would like to call Stella so you can hear what a service booking appointment looks like or sounds like. And I'm going to do that. I am going to use, I like to be, like I said, very transparent. I am going to use a demo line for this so you can hear a very specific experience. There are a couple of different experiences that we can, call Stella back and go through if you so choose. But I think this is a really good way for you to get an idea of how Stella will interact with your callers. And then we'll talk after I do this.
Okay.
So. All right, so I'm going to put Stella on speakerphone, and then I'm going to talk to her just like I tend to be a little nicer than most people are when they talk to her, but I'm going to talk to her like I'm a customer for the dealership.
Okay.
Good day. Thank you for calling Acme Motor Cars. I'm Stella, your digital assistant. How can I help you?
Hi, Stella. I need an oil change.
Are you calling about the 2023 Toyota Tundra?
Yeah, I am.
All right. If you know it, could you please state the approximate mileage of the vehicle?
It is about 29,800.
Thank you. Before we proceed, would you like to add any other services?
Yeah, I need a tire rotation.
Okay, let's book your appointment. Will you be dropping off your vehicle?
Yes, that's fine.
Please wait while I check our schedule. The next available appointment is today at 5:30 p.m. for drop-off. Would that be okay for you?
Can we do it tomorrow instead?
I have an appointment available for tomorrow at 7:30 a.m. for drop-off. Would that be okay for you?
Yeah, that's good.
Would you like to confirm your appointment?
Yes, please.
I have successfully scheduled your appointment for tomorrow at 7:30 a.m. to drop off your vehicle. Is there anything else you'd like to say about this call?
No, I'm good. Thank you.
Thank you for calling and for your feedback. Goodbye.
All right. So that was just about a minute and a half from the time that I connected to Stella until I hung up with Stella. Anything that jumped out at you that you liked, disliked, or you just want to ask about?
Does it have the capability to check for recalls?
It does, yeah. So that is one of the new things that we are just a few weeks out from going live on. So what we are doing is we're pulling for open recalls based on the VIN. And then what Stella will do, and that's one of the calls that we can dial back, and I can do a call so you can hear what that sounds like. But what would happen is Stella says, I noticed you have an open recall on the vehicle. Would you like us to address that? Or she can also, there's a couple different tabs that you can have Stella follow. So it might be, asking the customer to, or if they'd like to talk to somebody about that now, and then Stella would transfer the caller to somebody in the BDC or an advisor, however you set that up. It can be to essentially schedule a callback. So then Stella will take a note and then ping you or email you and say, hey Iggy, Leela was calling. She has a recall on her vehicle. Can you call her back tomorrow between 10 and 12? So there's a couple different ways that you can do that.
Okay. How does it interact with the op codes?
So we recognize over 250 different operations, and then we actually will integrate to the op codes that you basically give Stella access to. And forgive me, I don't know off the top of my head, which scheduler are you using online?
That was my next question. Yeah,
I
we're using
I
X.
should know that.
Yeah, we're using X time.
Okay, so Xtime is actually one of our quickest and easiest integrations. We work really well with Cox. So that one, what we have you do is you would go in and set Stella up with an administrative account. And then Stella will function just like one of your BDC agents, essentially. So Stella has access to the op codes, to the scheduling, the capacities that you would have your staff normally have access to. And then part of that is routing Stella to the op code that you want Stella to be able to book to. If there are cases where, like maybe like that Stella doesn't know how to, or you don't want Stella to handle, then that would be configured as something that Stella would transfer to somebody to handle that call.
Okay, so if we, for example, wanted Stella to focus on uh, pushing appointments into the afternoon, is that
Mm-hmm.
something that that's within the programmability, or is that something that we would just start deferring to an agent?
You, Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, that was my question.
Okay, so you can set up different rules on what Stella can access. We don't necessarily recommend that because we want Stella to be able to book to as much as possible. But I get it. That your mornings are busy. You need to push some people to the afternoon.
Okay. Um, what about communicating certain things, like if something needs to be addressed regarding getting parts for a recall or something like that? Can we put in prompts to modify the language of how it interacts with customers, or is it
Uh,
pretty much baked into how it is?
There is a little bit of stuff that we can do that's customized with the recall situation.
Mm-hmm.
Some of it will develop out a little bit more, a little bit further as we enhance the recall solution or recall features inside of the service booking solution. But for example, if you have Stella acknowledges that there's an open recall on my vehicle. You can have Stella set up to not book that appointment for, say, it's 5 days from now because you know that you need to order parts. And then Stella will book into for lack of better term, we'll call it a generic recall opcode that would then trigger you guys to know, like, oh, Leela's bringing in her Tundra. She needs this part by next Wednesday in order to have the recall completed.
Okay, so does it also have the capability to do text messaging, or is that part of the integration with Xtime, where when it schedules the appointment, Xtime kind of takes over and fires off
Uh,
confirmations?
Most dealers will let Xtime do that. There is an option to have Stella send a confirmation as well as a reminder for the appointment that's confirmed. And then the example also is if I were to call back and cancel my appointment, then Stella would send a confirmation text saying that I canceled it.
Okay.
But like I said, most dealers will let Xtime handle it at that point.
Okay. Well, I guess is there anything else that you could tell me about the product that would be helpful?
Yeah, I think as far as the what makes Stella different from some of the other places out there that you can do business with, we do own our own technology. We did develop it ourselves. We have a long history, almost a decade of tech behind us. And our founder, so the founder of Stella is the same founder who owns the tech lab that Stella is built out of. So she had this tech lab. She said, "Oh, where can I take everything that I've done over the last several years in the technology space and create a go-to-market, a marketable product and solution for somebody. And automotive was the place where it made the most sense to create that space. So Stella then entered the market as the only automotive-specific conversational AI that you can buy.
Okay, what does pricing look like?
Service booking, if you are able to move forward by the end of this month, I'm still able to extend NADA show rates. So normally it's $24.95 per month. It's now, with the show rate, it's $19.50 per month. Our contract is 60 days initial term with a 30-day written notice if you were to decide not to stay with us for any reason. And then with X-Time, you do have a one-time $9.95 installation fee.
Okay. And as far as volume of calls that it can handle,
Mm-hmm.
what does that look like?
Simultaneously unlimited calls. So in theory, I always like to say it this way. In theory, if you have 110 people call at 10:01 a.m., Stella is going to answer every single one of those calls at the exact same time, and then Stella is going to go through, it's provide the same experience. So, it's going to be very uniform. It'll be the same, Stella has the same conversation plans, and then Stella knows how to pivot based on what I, as a caller, am giving back.
Okay. Can it transfer to certain service advisors?
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, we transfer to the name. We can transfer based on role. So if I say I need to talk to the service manager, then we would have a direct dial number set up for that. Transfer right on over. And then also if there's like a problem or something, or even to the point where if Stella acknowledges that I'm getting a little bit bothered or upset, or if I start swearing, whether it's at or towards Stella or not, if I drop an F-bomb, Stella's going to say, let me find an advisor to help you with that, something like that. So.
Okay. What about reception service?
We do have reception. So that answers, again, 100% of inbound calls at the front of the house. Transfers based on the department, the name, the role, or the topic. So very similar to the way that Stella would transfer within service. That she'll do the same thing at reception.
Okay. So it would be able to transfer to sales reps and
Yes. Yeah. So to people, to departments, and then also by topic. So if I called and said I have a question about my warranty, then that would, in most cases, going to go to the F&I.
Okay. And do you have a dashboard for any type of reporting, or is that part of it?
We do have a dashboard. We are undergoing a big overhaul. So everything is going to live in what we call Stella Connect. That's where you will have your reporting, you will have your recorded calls. That's where if you, like when we were talking about recall, if somebody were to say that I can do what is called a transfer to SMS. So if I ring through to an advisor and say, Iggy's not available, would you like to have him call you back, or would you like to have him chat with you? Then that would look like an SMS from the caller's aspect, but then that is where you would manage those conversations, is inside of Stella Connect.
Okay.
And unfortunately, I don't have a visual on that for you yet. We're really close.
Is it going to provide is it going to be able to filter out how many calls actually came into sales and how many went into service, and provide us that type of information?
I have not seen it do that myself yet, but I would imagine yes, because we'll have you would have different Stella lines for each of the areas. So like you would have a Stella number that is being used for the reception, and then there's also going to be a Stella line that's specific to service.
Okay, so I mean, essentially, we could probably even just figure that out by putting in a call tracking number to each one of those, right?
Yes, in theory, yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
That would work too.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, based on the way that most dealers have their IVRs or their phone tree set up, they will not use the live Stella number and publish it. They'll actually just use their existing system and forward a number to Stella.
Okay. Okay, well, I can't think of any other questions, and so we've got a few days
Okay.
there for a few days under the NADA pricing,
Yeah.
and you said 19.
$19.50 per month for the service booking. If you're looking to do reception and service booking, I can bundle the two of those for $29.50 per month.
Okay, so the reception is an additional $1,000 basically.
Yeah, so if you are, as far as transferring out of the service booking product, that's included in service booking. If you have Stella answering the phone at the front of the house as a receptionist, there is the additional cost.
Okay.
It's two different products.
Okay. Yeah, I can't think of any other questions unless there's anything else that you feel is important for me to know. I'll review this with the general manager and service manager and
Okay.
and see what next steps are from there.
All right, sounds good. Do you want me to send it over to you in the form of a contract so you have it handy for review?
Sure. You've got my email, right?
Okay. Yes, I sure do.
Okay.
I will do that. And then I think you have my cell phone number, but do you want to take it down or you have it for my email?
Go ahead and give it to me. I can jot it down.
Okay, yeah. 415-265-2567. So feel free to call or text if you think of anything. I feel like I'm not always great at on the spot questions, but then I think of things after I hang up.
No worries. Thank you.
All right. Yeah, of course. You bet.
Have a good day.
Yep. Thank you. Talk soon.
Bye.
Bye.